Marvel might have made their boldest move yet when Steve Rogers handed the shield to Sam Wilson at the end of Avengers Endgame. It was supposed to be a defining moment for the MCU's future, a passing of the torch that honored Steve's legacy while opening a new chapter. Fans were excited, nervous, and curious to see how Marvel would pull it off. But instead of sprinting into this new chapter, Marvel stumbled. Years later, the fan base is still fighting over whether Sam Wilson should even be Captain America. Some see him as the natural heir. Others claim Marvel forced it. And critics online twisted Anthony Mackie's words into a controversy that refuses to die. So here's the question. Did Marvel fumble Sam Wilson's Captain America? Or are fans simply missing the bigger picture? The Endgame finale was cinematic history. After a decade of Steve Rogers fighting Hydra, Thanos, and his own government, he laid down the shield. Passing it to Sam wasn't just symbolic, it was a message. Steve trusted Sam to protect what the shield meant, not just who had carried it before. But Marvel's follow-up was shaky. Instead of putting Sam front and center in multiple projects, they gave him the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, then let him sit on the sidelines until Brave New World. Other new heroes were pushed ahead, while the new Captain America was treated like a side character in his own franchise. This lack of momentum made it easy for fans to question. Did Marvel really believe in Sam as Cap? Or were they nervous about audience reception? That hesitation only fueled division. Casual audiences? They were fine with it. Endgame had closed Steve's story, and it made sense for someone new to step up. But longtime fans were split. Some thought Bucky Barnes should have taken up the shield because of his deep bond with Steve. Others couldn't accept a Captain America that wasn't Steve Rogers at all. The debates quickly turned personal. Instead of just questioning the writing, critics started targeting Anthony Mackie himself. And that's when one interview poured gasoline on the fire. Mackie explained that Captain America isn't about waving a flag. It's about honor, dignity, integrity, values that transcend borders. To him, Cap was about being dependable, trustworthy, and above all, good. He compared acting to childhood imagination. When a stick could be a sword, a backyard could be a battlefield, and slaying dragons felt real. That childlike belief in something bigger than yourself is what he saw in Captain America. It was heartfelt, it was honest, but critics didn't hear the nuance. They twisted it into something else entirely. Almost overnight, his comments were weaponized online. Clips went viral with headlines screaming that Mackie said Captain America isn't about America. YouTubers and commentators latched on, painting Marvel's choice as woke garbage or social justice pandering. It didn't matter that Mackie was simply echoing what the comics had been saying for decades. To the anti-woke crowd, he became a symbol of everything wrong with modern Marvel. And in the noise, people forgot to ask, what has Captain America actually stood for since the very beginning? Here's the truth. Cap has never been about blind loyalty to the US government. From his earliest comics in the 1940s, Steve Rogers represented ideals, not institutions. In Civil War, he literally defied the government by refusing to sign the Sokovia Accords. In The Winter Soldier, he dismantled S.H.I.E.L.D. when it was revealed Hydra had infiltrated. Even in his very first MCU film, Dr. Erskine told him, "Not a perfect soldier, a good man." Captain America is about the dream, about what America should be, not what it is in any given political moment. That's the very distinction Mackie was making, and the irony? Chris Evans said the same thing years earlier. In 2011, Evans explained that Captain America wasn't just patriotic propaganda. He represented broader values like hope and decency. Nobody batted an eye. Fans applauded his thoughtful take. But when Mackie echoed those same words, suddenly it was outrageous. Suddenly it was anti-American. Why? The uncomfortable truth is that some people simply didn't want to see a black man carrying the shield. The memes calling him Captain African American made that clear. So let's be real. This backlash wasn't about misinterpreted quotes. It was about who fans were willing to accept as the symbol of America. And yet, Sam's worthiness speaks for itself. He didn't just show up at the end of Endgame to collect a shield. He earned Steve's trust over years of battle. From the Winter Soldier through Civil War, Sam proved he stood for the same ideals. Loyalty, courage, integrity. He went to prison for refusing to abandon Steve. He spent years on the run branded a criminal. In the comics, Sam's ascension was no accident either. In 2014, he officially became Captain America, and it wasn't some short-lived gimmick. He carried the shield for years and still holds it in modern Marvel storylines. Fans who argue that Sam doesn't fit are ignoring the fact that both Steve Rogers and Marvel's writers saw him as the natural successor long before the MCU caught up. So if Sam Wilson was the right choice, why do so many still feel uncertain? A big part of that blame falls on Marvel Studios. Captain America: Brave New World should have been a slam dunk, Sam's big screen debut as Cap. Instead, it turned out fine. Not terrible, but not unforgettable. Studio rewrites weakened the story. Characters like President Ross's head of security, Ruth, added little to the plot. Giancarlo Esposito was barely used. Sharon Carter's power broker reveal was left hanging with zero follow-up. And Tim Blake Nelson's leader, hyped as a major villain, was underwhelming. But even with a messy script, Anthony Mackie wasn't the problem. Alongside Harrison Ford, he carried the film. The Red Hulk fight was a highlight, but it was Mackie's presence that gave the movie its heart, and that's why the hate won't stop his momentum. Marvel is already positioning Sam Wilson as a central figure for the future. He's confirmed to lead the Avengers in Doomsday, making him one of the franchise's most important heroes moving forward. It doesn't matter if some fans still cling to Steve Rogers. Just like Steve himself said, the world will always need Captain America. And now, that mantle belongs to Sam. At the end of the day, both Evans and Mackie describe the same truth. Captain America doesn't represent politicians, governments, or even a single country. He represents ideals on goodness, bravery, and the fight for what's right, no matter the cost. The people who call Mackie anti-American miss the entire point of the character. The shield isn't about who holds it. It's about what it stands for. And both Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson live up to that legacy. So here's the real question. Do you think the problem is Anthony Mackie? Or is it Marvel's execution that made his transition to Captain America harder than it needed to be? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this debate isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And if you enjoyed breaking down the truth behind Marvel's new Captain America, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and stay tuned. Because Sam Wilson's story is only getting started.